You know, it's interesting because I'm new to television. I never thought that I would be doing this. I am a former political staffer. I worked on Capitol Hill for 10 years. I worked for a member of the United States Senate. I also worked in leadership. I worked for a president's re-election campaign. So for the most part, I considered myself to be a staffer, and I was pretty comfortable with that. I enjoyed being behind the camera and working with producers and bookers and so forth, and literally being, for lack of a better term, the staffer behind the throne. And a couple of years ago, someone came to me and said, you know, it appears that you're very comfortable in front of the camera, and it appears that you know, you have a face for TV. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, but nevertheless, I took this person's advice and I tried out for a couple of analyst slots, and fortunately, some major networks called and said, you know, we think you're pretty good at this. Perhaps you should do this. So what I am is someone that gets up every single day and tries to be a better person. I am a political geek, so I'm always trying to find the latest political gossip and news. I'm also someone that enjoys spending time at the beach. I love to read, and as you can probably tell from my stomach, I love to cook and eat. So for me, it's all about spending good quality time with family and friends on the beach, preferably, but also with a good book, and not too far from my reach is some type of PDA or political device that gives me the political information. So I'm just like you. I just so happen to be in front of the camera and thoroughly enjoy it. I look at several blogs and several news publications in the morning. First and foremost, I must confess, I read the Drudge Report the first thing in the morning. And the reason why is because I think Drudge does a pretty good job, knowing obviously he's a little bit more right-leaning, he does a pretty good job of summarizing the news, at least the headlines for me. And obviously you can click on the link, and knowing that the overall subject line is a little bit sensationalistic, he typically links you to a legitimate news site, whether it be the Washington Post or the New York Times and so forth. And subsequently, I look at the Washington Post, the New York Times. I also will take a look at rollcall.com and Politico. I also, because it's clearly in the news, will take a look at WikiLeaks, the Huffington Post, and occasionally I'll take a look at Wonket or some other blog out there if in fact there's something germinating in the news. Roll Call TV started off as a really small public affairs program that aired on the Comcast network Sunday evenings at 8 o'clock, and it still continues to air on the Comcast network at 8 p.m. But in addition to that, it's available in 24 million homes, Comcast homes, all across the country on demand. So the folks out there that are Comcast subscribers can watch Roll Call TV anytime that they wish. But in addition to that, the caliber of our guests has changed for the good. We've gone to both political conventions. We went to Minneapolis. We also went to Denver. We've had everyone from Hillary Clinton to John McCain to Meghan McCain, his daughter. We've also had some other celebrities and politicians on as well. We pride ourselves on trying to be as relevant as we possibly can every single week, and we also pride ourselves on being nonpartisan, not only just bipartisan, but nonpartisan. We could care less what your political affiliation is. The only thing we care about is that you have an opinion and that you're able to come onto the show and defend that opinion. Keeping up. There's just so much information out there. You know, I have an iPad, I have a Mac, and I also have a PC desktop, and I feel like as much as I'm connected to the world, I'm not connected, because I just simply cannot keep up with everything that's coming at you in so many different shapes and forms. Not only now do you have apps on your iPad and also on your iPhone, but also any other PDA device that is feeding you news, but you also clearly have the 24-hour news cycle through the major networks. But in addition to that, as we mentioned a few moments ago, we also have the blogs and other websites. So I feel like I just simply cannot keep up with all the information that's out there. It's similar to almost drinking water out of a fire hose. Truth be told, I don't think we know the answer to that yet, because I think there is some person out there that's probably half my age that is in some dormitory right now eating cold pizza, that is primarily working on the next Facebook or the next Twitter or the next social media site that not only will just be social media by connecting people, but I believe the next wave, if you will, of a website, and don't steal my idea here because this is my idea, but I feel like the next wave out there is going to be a website that pretty much knows you. So every morning there will be a summary of all your favorite websites, all of your favorite news, all of your emails, all in one. And so the website, when you click onto it in the morning or the afternoon or whenever you do, it will be constantly changing towards you. In other words, the website will become you. And so thus in the process, we'll be feeding you information on a daily basis on everything that you like. A year from now, I would love for Roll Call TV to be in more homes across the country. I would like for us to be on par with some of the other Sunday shows out there that clearly have a much long and storied history than Roll Call TV. We've only been around now for 3 years, but to the extent that a year from now we can say that we're up there with Meet the Press and Face the Nation and State of the Union, that would be a home run. I think more than anything else, they want accuracy. They want, when it comes to people's opinions, and we all have them, and clearly the American people at home have their own opinion, I think at the end of the day, they're comfortable with the spirited debate between the right and the left and also the center. And I think that's the main reason why you see programs like MSNBC and Fox that have a little bit more of a spirited debate throughout their programming throughout the day. They have a rise in their advertising. But what I don't think Americans necessarily have an appetite for is for folks out there that will rip your face off because you're a Republican, or rip your face off because you're a Democrat, or will spew hate and inaccuracies out there. I think that's where a lot of people simply do not have an appetite for. I would say probably it would be Roll Call newspaper. I believe that is a absolute, positively nonpartisan, middle-of-the-road publication that just gives you the facts about Capitol Hill and about Washington, D.C. I trust them. I work with them on a daily basis. I think they are consummate professionals. I think there are individuals out there, meaning the reporters at Roll Call, that get up every single day and strive to get the story right. And that's very important to me, and I know it's also very important to them. A strong second would probably be the Washington Post. I do read them every day, and I believe that what they're reporting is right. That isn't to say they don't make mistakes, meaning Roll Call and Washington Post and other print publications, but it is to say that I do trust them. And I can go on down the list in terms of my preference, but I think those two are probably the top two for me.